You're still on to the conversation on Lagos television. It's still a brand new year of 2025, and we cannot discuss 2025 without making reference to the year 2024. Without the past, you cannot talk about the future. So this morning, we'll be looking at projection into the year 2025, and that will take us through the economy and some of other issues that were raised in the year 2024, the tax reform, insecurity in the country, and of course, we'll also be focusing on the National Assembly, precisely the Green Chamber. We have joining us this morning, Honorable Babajimi Benson is the one representing the people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency in the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Compliment of the season.
Wish you the same.
All right, let's start from 2024. It was a combination of so many things, the good, the bad, and the ugly for Nigerians because of certain government policies. But for you, what were the highs and the lows of the year 2024, looking at the country generally and, of course, the National Assembly?
Thank you very much. 2024, like you said, has been a very tough year. It's a tough year where I would say Nigeria got pregnant. You know, when there's pregnancy, there's pain, there's discomfort, and we went through that. We went through a year of subsidy removal, and that occasioned a lot of hardship for the citizenry. It was a time the exchange rates were unified as well. You know, that also caused a lot of grief. So when you have those double charged whammies, the citizens suffer. But like I said, it's a year that Nigeria got pregnant. You know, 2025 is when there'll be successful birth. You know, then we'll see a renaissance of how Nigeria was in the days of yore, with a lot of infrastructure, a lot of opportunities. Nigeria would attain the eminence it truly deserves in 2025, having gone through the pregnancy in 2024.
Oh, okay, I love the fact that you identify the fact that Nigerians suffered in 2024, and looking at some of the policies that the government tried to implement in 2024. There are hopes that things are going to get better in the year 2025. And oftentimes, we often wonder if members of the National Assembly are also feeling the pains of Nigerians. You're smiling.
Yeah, no, I knew you were going to ask me that question. 2024, the president practiced what I call tough love. Tough love is when you look your children straight in the eyes and tell them we need to tighten our belt so that tomorrow will be good. So that's what he did. He was bold, he was courageous. He did what no other leader would have done. He looked us in the eyes and said, this is what I'm going to do to you. You know, it's like giving a child an injection. Everybody hates injection. I remember when I had malaria way back and they gave me that, there's this injection, is it chloroquine?
Chloroquine, yeah.
It paralyzes your leg, you know. That's like whipping you with koboko 50 times, you know. It disciplines you, it trains you. And after that injection, you get better in a short while, you know. So that's what he's done. So I believe there's a pathway to Nigeria's renaissance. So he's giving us the injection. We've taken the pain. We expect us to economically grow in leaps and bounds. So that's what I see. So feeling the pain in my constituency, yes, we do, because the House of Reps members are grassroots based. Yeah, so if the constituents are not happy, they feel it. They feel it with multiple requests, calls, demands, and stuff like that, particularly in my constituency, which gave Mr. President the highest votes in Nigeria. You know, Ikorodu Federal gave him the highest vote. So there's a lot of optimism, there's a lot of demands, there's a lot of entitlements, because they did what has never been done for the federal constituency to be tops in voting. So They have a right to demand, and they do demand. It's their right. And you know how they are. 70% of them are youths, and I'm sure if you do a census today, Kodu constituency has the biggest amount of residents in Lagos State.
Okay, we'll still come back to what you have done to impact your constituents much later in the conversation. But I love the fact that you said, okay, Nigerians are suffering, they are suffering. Mr. President looked us straight in the face and, you know, he told us to buckle up. But when you look at the cost of governance and the luxurious lifestyle of those that we have elected, is a sharp contrast to what the people are going through.
Yes, people say that. So the lifestyle they talk about is maybe buying jeeps for members, right? So I think it's part of the tools of trade. It's I mean, if you employ a GM in a bank, he has a tool of trade to go to work with, and they give you that vehicle maybe once in 4 years, and salary is deducted for you to amortize its payment. So I really don't see a big deal in that, provided the lawmaker adds value and provides infrastructure or deliverables that far exceed the costs of the tools provided him. So reducing cost of governance is also a process. You don't just cut it anyhow. And I believe Mr. President, being a worthy accountant and an auditor, knows how to gradually reduce those cost of governance. But he's just 18 months in the saddle, and I'm sure in the fullness of time, we will get to the El Dorado that we all hope we get to.
Okay, so what were some of those policies of Mr. President that we saw in 2024 that is giving you the assurance that 2025 will be much better than 2024?
No, like I said, the Dangote refinery, the petrochemical industry, Nigeria has changed it. Because of the Dangote refinery that produces over 600 barrels of refines over 600,000 barrels of oil per day, it has changed the global politics pertaining to the oil and gas industry. Now Nigeria is an exporter of PMS. It's going to dominate West Africa. It's going to dominate Africa. Europe is already ordering for our PMS because a lot of refineries are closing. But the most important thing, what I like the most is if you pump crude into the Dangote refinery, it has 98% efficiency. I don't think any refinery has that anywhere in the world. So if you put crude in it, it will turn it into PMS, diesel, NGO, and it has 98% efficiency. So he's going to be the king again, you know. So watch out for Nigeria. You ain't seen nothing yet. So that is what I give to Mr. President. So we're going to have energy sufficiency, which means our the demand for dollar will go down, which means the inflow for dollar would increase. Currently, our what do you call it? Our foreign exchange reserve is over 40 billion, the highest in $40 billion, the highest in very, very, very many years, which means we can do exports. Our LCs will be honored easily, and which also invariably increases our ratings in the international community.
Okay, so
that's one of it.
Okay.
The agricultural revolution as well. Mr. President ordered 2,000 tractors. So agric is also going to be very strong. I myself also passed for second reading, the Armed Forces Farms and Ranches, which means the Armed Forces are also going to be heavily involved in farming and agriculture. If you look at the GDP of Nigeria, agriculture is a huge contributor. So with the military coming into farming, food security is guaranteed, because one of the problems you have is food inflation. The prices of commodities has shot up the roof. So if you have ample supply, if you have ample security for farmers going to farm, and you have oil security, if you can fix the food security, inflation will go down, and Nigeria will be well off for it.
Okay, that's quite impressive. For us to achieve all of this that you have identified so far, I'm also happy that you are the chairman of Committee on Defense in the Green Chamber. The 2025 budget of Nigeria is quite huge when it comes to defense. How well do you think we are fared? Because oftentimes you interface with the security chiefs. How well do you think we are faring as regards insecurity in Nigeria 2024 and of course projection into 2025?
Okay, I sponsored a bill called the DICON bill. So the DICON bill was signed by Mr. President in January of 2024. What that seeks to do is to ensure that Nigeria becomes a powerhouse in the production of infrastructure, arms and ammunition. So we see the West African market as very viable. A lot of the West African countries and African countries import bullets and hardware and software from China and co. There are things we can do. So we've sort of liberalized the market in Nigeria. We're going to issue licenses to foreign companies that we already purchased from. We see Nigeria can be a hub in the production of such items. So DICON is raring to go. DICON would also do what the Dangote refinery is doing in the arms and ammunition industry. So that's one. So what I'm trying to say is that importation of the hardware and software will cease, and thus providing more foreign exchange for Nigeria. So that's on one leg. The other leg is the other day I met with some American congressmen, the defense and foreign affairs. They came to Nigeria. And they came to seek more partnership. They came to talk about human rights issues. They came to talk about purchase of helicopters. Mr. President just paid for some Cobra helicopters that are game changers in the war against insurgency. Also, the Tucano, we've also spoken to them about the Tucano we bought, about having more flexibility, because it's tied to just the Northeast. They wanted to go all around and help fight this insurgents. There's also the militants. There are ways and means that we're using. I don't want to disclose that, and ensuring that our oil outputs get up to the 2.5 barrels per day. So there are a lot of ongoing initiatives. My colleagues travel now by road from Abuja to Kaduna. That used to be an impossible feat in the days of yore. But gradually we're getting it. And if you look at the dirty December, I don't think you heard of any incidents throughout the length and breadth of Nigeria. So everybody in America, in the US, in the EU, they're looking to spend the 2025 December in Nigeria. So that's a huge ecosystem. You saw what my cousin did, Toke Benson, the commissioner for tourism. She did a great job, the regatta, the countdown, and I also commend Mr. Governor as well for ensuring that ecosystem. The tourism again brings in a huge amount of money.
And security is key to that.
Security is key. It's underpinned by security.
Oh, okay, one interesting topic that's also trended in 2024 was the tax reform bills, and of course that is still going to continue in 2025. I'm sure you must have gone through the bills, and of course the merits of the bills, you must have gone through it as well, but it's still generating some kind of controversy. What's your take on this bill?
My take on it is that, you see, if you're elected to be a president or a governor, the buck should stop at your table. You must be far-sighted to understand your revenue projections and co. So Mr. President has looked at this. He's looked at the tax to GDP ratio of Nigeria, and he believes that we need to do more in ensuring that more taxes are raised, not through increasing the tax, but maybe spreading the dragnet, and for more states to get a lot more than they deserve. Our tax laws today were made by our colonial masters in the 1930s, so it's only tried to ensure that they're brought to modern day realities. I'll give you an example of the old tax laws. Outsourcing. So in Ghana, majority of their forex is gotten from outsourcing, so which means that an American company or a company in India just comes to Ghana and use their staff to do all their transactions because it's cheaper, So in doing that, the Ghanaian authorities would only tax the Ghanaian working in Ghana that the international company has recruited. But in Nigeria, our old laws will tax that Nigerian and tax the company that recruits. If you're a business person, would you come to Nigeria?
No.
So one of the things that the tax laws is trying to eliminate is that. Second of all, I'm just shocked. I see the NLC, the Argon, they're not celebrating the fact that staff who pay a minimum wage do not get taxed anymore. Now
if
they
you're
pay
less than a millionaire.
no, yeah, if you less, yeah. So a lot of the civil servants, public servants who earn 800,000, who earn less than 800,000, don't get taxed. But nobody is talking about it. Nobody is celebrating it. So it's a gift that Mr. President has given Nigerians. So even companies, who are SMEs, who are startups, are exempted from tax. Nobody's talking about it, right? And a whole lot of other benefits that are contained in the tax law. Everything there is an add-on. So what people are scared of is this fear of the unknown. And I always say there's a Bible verse that says that, would you ask for food from your father, and would your father give you scorpion? So this is a man that has canvassed for our votes. He got 62% of votes from the north, right? So would he pay them back by making them suffer? And he has a re-election coming up. So I think they should trust him. And everything in the tax bill has benefits. I did not see the negative thing. Is, a lot of them are propaganda, get towards the political, and they have trust issues. Number one, people do not believe that Lagos earns a lot of money from VAT. And Mr. President is trying to redistribute that to other states. They do not believe that somebody can do that, that you're already earning 42% of the tax collectible from VAT. You now say 42% is too much. Let Kano take more. Let Zamfara take more. Today, from my analysis, Kano earns 0.61% from VAT. So with the new distribution, Kano will earn 6.1%. But they're not looking at that. They're just looking at this man. Let's not agree. You understand? And I always say that Kano, being a state that has a huge population, should not be fraternizing with a Zamfara or Yobe. They should be fraternizing with a Lagos that has huge populations. They should be talking to Lagos. Lagos should be talking to them. But with so much colored this progressive move by Mr. President with bile, with anger, with different political connotation, which is wrong. I think we should move away from that.
Okay, so with all of this now, what confidence are you giving Nigerians that this year is going to be a year of renewed hope for them?
Yeah, we're going to ensure that the tax bill is thoroughly looked at again. There's a lot of consultation going on. The other sides are seeing the benefits of it. In the fullness of time, because I think 2025 is also underpinned by how much the tax bill reform sees the light of the day. The renewed hope, like I said, the oil and gas industry is already on an upward swing. We're expecting the Boa refinery to come on board as well, and I hope that would also be as efficient as the Dangote refinery will be. The Port Harcourt refinery is coming on stream. The Warri as well, But I have more faith in those new refineries because the efficiency levels are
High.
out of this world, yeah.
Okay, let's go personal now. We all know that Mr. President cannot be everywhere, just like the governors. You are the one representing the people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency in the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. What have you done to also consolidate on some of the policies of the federal government to equally renew the hope of your constituents?
Yes, we've done a lot. We bring a lot of infrastructure home. I do not have a choice. Like I always say, I like to drum this into everybody's ears that when Ikorodu sneezes, Lagos will catch colds. We have the highest votes for Mr. President, so the demand is high, the expectation is high, and so we have to key into the renewed hope philosophy of Mr. President. So we've been able to attract infrastructure. I've been able to attract over 70 roads in Ikorodu Federal Constituency. The one that is dear to my heart now is the Ofioreta Road, which is about 13 kilometers. It's as long as the it's longer than the Ojota to Garage.
Okay.
So we hope to complete that by March, April next year. So we hope maybe Mr. President, yeah, we want to come and commission, and we're hoping because it's his baby. President is the Baba Oba of Ikorodu, so, and he graciously approved that project. So that's one. We've been able to construct many schools. We've been able to get federal appointments in Ikorodu. We've been able to build stadiums. So we built one in Itailewa. We're trying to do another one, complete another one in the Lagos State. I always mix up the names. Last poly is still stuck in my head. Science and Tech.
It's not university.
Science and Tech, yeah, exactly. And so more, I always forget what I do, but I also know that we have 22 projects that are uncompleted that we hope to commission in this year.
Okay, but in all of these, are you conscious of the population of youth in Ikorodu, and what are you doing to ensure that they fit into the competitive global economy that we have now?
Oh, fantastic question. So we also big on, that's why we do the educational, we do the school infrastructure, we do sports, we do place them into, we do mentorship lecture series programs, we do set up ICT centers. I have 3 at the moment. We're building a 3rd one in Imota, right? So we have one in Ikorodu Central. I actually have 4. I have one in Ijede. We're building one in the what's it called, the town hall, and there's one coming up in. So we have 4. So we use that to harness their skills as well. Yeah.
All right. I'll keep referring you to the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President because you were one of those who campaigned rigorously for Mr. President, and that reflected in the number of votes that he was able to get from your division. So with all of these initiative of Mr. President, are you still confident that it's going to deliver at the end of the day? Because people have criticized Mr. President, they call him T-Pain because of the pains that they are going through. The cost of food items is high. Cost of living is high, inflation rate is high, and people are beginning to get agitated and worried that is this man going to deliver at the end of the day?
You know, T-Pain is a musician. Do you know him?
I do, but
Okay.
we now have another T-Pain.
No. So T-Pain, the musician, got a lot of. He was just shocked that Nigerians are saying T-Pain, they're hailing him. So not knowing that there is somebody else they're calling T-Pain. So he gave a shout out that, oh, I love you, my Nigerian brother. He didn't know they were referring to Ashwaju. So T-Pain, yeah, it's a good name. And I remember when Ashwaju started out as governor, his first year, second year were tough. Very tough. As tough as this. Maybe even tougher. You know, he had a lot of court cases, he had issues with refuse and co. But did he overcome them? Did he overcome them?
Lagos is better
Yes,
today.
Lagos is better today. So I also see him that no pain, no gain. So T-Pain, no pain, no gain. So the way, like I said, the injection has been infused in our bombs, you know, so they're massaging it in the fullness of time.
Including yours?
Uh,
Including yours?
yes, I feel the pain of my people.
Okay, you
So,
feel the pains of your
yeah,
people.
I feel the pains of the people because whatever I have, what's that Yoruba saying? Olowo kan, kini kan, oloshi or something. You know what I'm trying to say? So I feel the pain. So if I have a big basket, right, and everybody's
Looking at that
talking to
basket.
me, right, that I have to dissipate the basket to filter. But I'm praying that we can grow, all of us can have big baskets, so I can just run away with mine and they don't see it. But right now, that's not what we're having. But I see a pathway, we're building blocks to get in there.
All right, share your view with us on that autonomy granted to local governments in Nigeria. That's on one side. And as one of those representing Lagos in the National Assembly, are you worried about the fact that the 37 LCDAs are not enlisted yet in the Constitution of Nigeria?
So the best thing that has happened to Nigeria has been the Supreme Court decision on local government autonomy. So I always believe that if you grow the local governments, Nigeria will thrive. There's going to be competition. And I recall the late Lagbaja, the Chief of Army Staff, he would say, Chairman, we liberate different local governments or different communities from Boko Haram or kidnappers and blah, blah, blah. But we don't have anybody to hand them over to. Because either the local governments become ungovernable spaces or they don't exist. So you go to some areas, you do not see any form of federal presence there. So why won't the kids be Boko Haram or whatever? There's no hope. And anytime we summon this local government to ask them, hey, what's going on? They say the governor has chopped everything. They don't send anything to them. But with this new law, each local government will get its funding directly. So I remember when I was in America in the early 2000s, right? I lived in New York. I didn't know who the governor was. So one day somebody said Governor Pataki. So I'm like, who is that? So they said that's the governor of New York. But I knew Giuliani. Giuliani was the mayor of New York City. You know, so your local government chairman is supposed to be your governor, right? So I think Nigeria should even grow to the stage whereby the local governments own a territory. They can build bridges. They can build fire service. So if they start doing that, even the position of the governor becomes less important. You know, so going to your second question about listing, I'm not sure. I think that the way to go is to delist the 774.
Okay.
right?
Why?
And allow states create as many local governments as they want, or reduce the local governments they have to the barest minimum,
That means we have to tweak the constitution.
right? Because if we have, Lagos has 37, other states have also created. Ogun has LCDAs,
Oshun,
Osun has LCDAs, Kaduna has LCDAs,
Ekiti.
Ekiti. So the moment we list Lagos, so what stops them from asking for this? So your 774 becomes
Larger
1
than
million.
life.
You understand? So I'm not sure that's the way. I think we should remove 774 and allow states dissect
What they need.
its resources, do gerrymandering, right? And know that our appropriate number of local governments should be 20, 30, 40, 50. You know, because the moment you list 37 in Lagos, 774 becomes the receipts, the monies they get reduced because of the 37. And why would we list? We would say we have a Supreme Court decision, right, to say Lagos go and list. Once you have the Supreme Court decision, it becomes accessible to all as a precedent. They will also come and say this and that. So I think where we should migrate to is removing the 774 from, but the 57 we have in Lagos, perfect. They have adequately catered to the yearnings of the people. I mean, in Ikorodu, I'm happy when I go to Ikorodu North, for instance.
Okay.
They have a legislative place. I see the roads the chairman has constructed. When I go to Ijede,
Imota.
when I go to Imota, when I go to
Igbobo.
Igbobo, I mean, Daniel has also done a fantastic job, you know. When I go to Krodu West, Sulaimon, they've all been punching beyond their weights. But imagine if
It was
they're
just Ikorodu alone.
no, if it was Ikorodu alone, they would not have done as much. But imagine a situation where 774 is removed, and we set them up as proper local government, and they get direct allocations from whoever is supposed to pay. They'll do a lot more. And that dream I have, where there's competition. So you see inflow of funds going to all the local government, and there's no way they won't compete. When there's competition, who benefits the most? The populace, exactly.
All right. Before we let you go this morning, what will be your message to Nigerians? The year is still fresh.
My message to Nigerians is that the renewed hope is here to stay. The renewed hope is underpinned by strong security. With the strong security, there will be food security. If there's strong security, there will be energy security. If there's strong security, there will be foreign direct investment. And at the end of the day, this will benefit the teeming youths we have, right? There's also a strong emphasis on ramping up the power we have in Nigeria. If you notice, a lot of trading is going on. The Lagos State government, I must commend them as well. They set up their energy commission, which would also ensure that there's energy security in Lagos. So with all this, the knock-on effect will add value to our GDP, and at the end of the day, the youths and everybody will be the better off for it. If the society creates more jobs, who's going to benefit? It's the youth. So the knock-on effect. And they too, it's a new year. They should not relent in their efforts. They should make sure they acquire modern day skills that will help them attain the eminence that they truly offer.
All right, Honorable Babajimi Benson, representing Ikorodu Federal Constituency, giving us some projections into the year 2025, and of course, giving us the assurance that the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President is here to stay. We just need to endure some more, knowing full well that there is no pain without gain. Thank you very much for your time on the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll be taking a very short break. It's good that you came. I'm happy. I'm not chasing you for a while.
Yeah.
All right, we're taking a very short break on the program at this moment. We'll be right back. Stay with us.